some of your opinions about some like larger systemic change, like things like the opportunity gap that comes from the way that we fund our schools, that, you know, like you talked about earlier, like these larger gaps and like these like incentive-based pay, and like your opinion about the charter school movement.
Let me address the charter school movement first of all. I think when in the states where they have rigorous standards to make sure that a charter school is doing at least as good a job in following at least the bare minimum regulations of the state education system, I think they can be a good thing. They prove it to be. But we've also seen, you know, there are charters given out all over the country every year. And in 2 years, you know, a huge chunk of those are going to be gone because it just didn't work. We have to keep good oversight. The charter school has its charms and it is working. I don't have all the answers. And it's not always just money. Again, one of the parts of racist that I like, other than the money, is that there is this active, ongoing, what's working, what's not, get that information out there, enable schools and school systems to adopt these things. If there was a magic wand, I wish somebody would show it to me, but I think it's going to take a lot of long, hard work. Funding is always an issue because people don't like to pay taxes. We know that within this country. Not very long at all before we figure out people don't like to pay taxes. But you said incentive-based. Is that, are you referring to like a merit system?
Right.
Where teacher pay is based on performance? I favor moving toward that, but what I don't favor is some of the early models, and some of them that are even being used right now. It goes back to my criticism earlier of No Child Left Behind. I don't want the merit pay system based on this year's benchmark results. So that we're going to reward you if you can teach your kids how to take a standardized test. But we're not going to take into account that, you know, in early June, 30 kids will leave a room that they have spent with a teacher with the love of Longfellow, or the ability to read Tolstoy in Russian. But these are things we want them to be able to do. We want to reward a teacher that can do that, that can instill that lifetime love of learning, which is essential, particularly if we as a people are going to continue to compete globally in this next century. So I don't know the answer, but it can't. Well, I know what it can't be. It can't be just based on, well, you had X percent who passed the benchmark, so you get a raise this year, and your kids aren't doing so well on that standardized test, so we think we'll fire you. It doesn't matter if you've been here 30 years and taught half the people in town. But you see what I'm saying? I don't know what the answer is completely. I don't want to listen to everybody who's done it. But we have to wait. Yes, merit pay has to be brought in. Because I went to school in the United States too, and it hadn't been that many years. And I can tell you, the two things you remember, I'm 49 this year. When somebody asks me about teachers, I remember two things. I bet there's a whole bunch I forgot, but I'll remember the best ones I had. I remember the names, I remember the faces, I remember how good they made me feel to be a student. And I remember the bad ones. And boy, I had some howlers. People that should not even been around children while I'm not trying to teach them. So we have to have a system that, you know, I'm a strong supporter of the unions, but we don't need a union that will sit there and say, this incompetent / even dangerous person must stay in the classroom because they've managed to elude detection for 25 years. So yeah, there's, you know, a merit system has to go in to get rid of the problems. The good news is there are not that many of them. They could be found fairly quickly in a real system where you didn't have